call the meeting to order in the Castroville Community Services District here on July 15th. In the district board room. Roll call for
Time is 4:31. Ron Stefani.
us. Here.
Glenn Oania.
Here.
James Cochran.
Here.
Greg MacMillan.
Here.
Cosme Padilla.
Here.
Let's do the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hello, is there any additions or corrections to the agenda? Anything from the board? So now's the time for public comment. This is designed for members of the public to provide comments on items not on tonight's agenda, but within our jurisdiction of authority. Do you have any comments? No, the sign is on tonight's agenda, we'll get to that.
Okay.
Unless you have something else.
No, I'm here about that, about the sign.
No. Okay. Move on to the consent agenda. We order the minutes.
Second.
Second, any questions, comments? Any comments, questions from the public? Take the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The motion carries unanimously. Okay, now it's time for correspondence.
Yeah, we got a little bit of bad news from the United States Department of the Interior that we did not receive the grant that we applied for the well 6 site civil improvements. And we are gonna actively pursue other avenues and reach out to them about potential other funding opportunities. So I just want to share that with you. And there's also an information line, that's on page 8, sorry. There's an information line on the safety of upgrades that I thought was kind of interesting from JPIA. Pages 9
I have a
to
question.
13 as well. Go ahead.
Now, since the grant was declined, you said other avenues. What other avenues are we pursuing?
Looking at other opportunities that are coming up, mostly through the state and some through the Department of Interior that have not opened yet. So I'm talking to other grant writers, and actually also with the CSDA has a grant program that helps guide on that. So one of the items that we have to do is our mean household income survey needs to be updated, and I've been told by several grant people that needs to be current, and ours is more than 5 years old. So that's really the next step, and then pursuing other grants. But I don't have anything off the top of my head that is pending or due in the short term.
So for well 6, that will be delayed until we don't know when.
Well, I think we need to make choices how we want to fund it. If we don't get grant funding, if we want to fund it with our reserves, or if we want to pull a bond or a loan. All good questions, Cosme. The grant environment's not very warm and fuzzy right now.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I got one question regarding the grants. What, if you apply for bonds, how long does it usually take to pay back the bonds?
I think it depends on how you set it up. And I was gonna talk a little bit about what I learned at the CSDA conference from a couple of other GMs about ways to go about bonds. We can talk about that, but it's typically 30 years. And there's different, I found about some avenues where you can actually go to bid on bonds if you partner with another agency, which is a whole process that I just learned about at the last conference.
I have a follow-up question.
Yeah, go ahead.
We don't know the cost quite yet, like it's what it would be. Any estimate on what it might cost?
For well 6 site improvements, I believe the engineer's estimate was 9 or 10 million. And that's for a tank, new pumps and piping, yard piping, as well as the pump for the well.
Is that worst case scenario?
I think it's worst case scenario.
Temperature-
With the arsenic treatment, that's a good point.
Temperature treatment.
So 9 to 10 million?
Yes. If we get good water quality out of well 6, it might be much less expensive.
Any questions or comments on our information items? from the public? Hearing none? We covered the information items, right?
Yeah, sorry.
Walking services. We don't have any presentations. And we move right into new business. Board and community input regarding what to do with the old interior sign put up in the 80s and exterior sign installed in 2019. Covered the old interior sign put up in the 1980s. And James, you want to take off on that?
Sure, just a little background information. When the sign was taken down, you'll see the pictures in the board packet. The one on the top was the interior sign that was put up in the 1980s. It's a much more thick gauge metal and would not require a lot of backing if it was to be repurposed. It obviously needs a little bit of repainting. And then the sign below it was a skin that was put on top of the old sign back in 2019, which is a much thinner gauge metal and will need some backing support, some outdoor rated plywood to be mounted on. So, and that's in two pieces. The lower sign is a two-piece sign. The upper sign is a single piece of steel. So just a little background there, and I'd like to open it up to the board or the community to make suggestions. I did talk to the gentleman, the executive director of the California Welcome Center. He doesn't really have room for it. He suggested I talk to James Perry of the Monterey County Historical Society, and I'll call them and talk to them. So I think what the board and staff is looking for is public input and ideas. We've got a few ideas, I believe, amongst us, but I'd like to hear from the public as well and from the board, please.
Those are the history of the old signs, three pictures.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Thanks for bringing
The
that up.
1930s, 1950s, and 1980s.
No, those are the signs. What about the rest of the structure? Was that anything done with that?
Scrap metal.
No, no, that's scrap metal.
Yeah, it wasn't worth anything.
Nothing at all,
No.
huh? Okay, so now the signs, they were one on top of each other
Right.
on both sides.
Yes,
And they're separated now.
they are separated now.
And they're both at the.
Stored at the contractor's
Okay.
yard.
Okay, so only the sign, not the metal, only the sign itself is what it
Yeah,
is.
the metal was pretty severely corroded. That's part of the reason we took it down.
So,
But there wasn't much to the structure itself. It's just the signs themselves.
So what we see here is what it is, there's nothing behind it now, just the sign itself.
I believe he still has it on the frame. The interior sign is still on the frame that was cut the night that we took it down.
Because I saw when it took it out, but then that was at nighttime.
Right.
So
So I think the old sign is still attached to that rack that was chopped.
Okay, okay. Okay, that was my question, so was it separated or still attached to something?
I believe they just took the front skins off both sides to look at underneath, and that's where we got the pictures from Jeremy.
Okay, everything else is scrap.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm open to the public comment.
Okay, let's get from the board first. Go ahead, Glenn.
Yeah, the sign, can't they donate it to Ocean Mist? Because since they're the one that produce a lot of artichoke, I don't know, you might wanna ask them if they want that sign. You know, since they produce a lot of artichoke, it'd be a good sign for them.
I agree. That's a good idea.
Good idea, and we'll note that.
Yep.
We want somewhere that's safe, secure,
Like a dog. Oh, the dog.
safe, secure, somewhere that's easy to maintain it, and somewhere that, and it also is gonna cost money. We gotta fundraise for it.
I'll reserve my opinion after the public comment.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, we get, we're lucky we're on the board and get to comment again. Anything, Greg?
I like
Or
Glenn's
first?
idea.
I just
So,
wanted to mention something really quick. The bottom sign, that's the one we put in 2019. So that sign we had signed by man to do the work for us, and the board, we paid about $19,000 for that sign. So today we're decreasing the asset on that sign, so it has a value of about $12,000 still remaining on the sign.
On the books.
On the books, correct.
Thank you, Lydia.
so I'll make my comments. I'd like it in the community somewhere and very visible to our community. One place is the plaza. We had plans initially when we developed the plaza to put a gazebo in that round grass area. And I was looking at it today, I took a few pictures. The sign would probably fit in there. We have to, right, that's the other thing, we gotta measure the sign, we gotta know the specs on it. But we could put it up just as it was on Merritt Street with the silver poles and the rack. And then
Do you have- do you
build
have-
some kind of memorial or something around it.
Do you have the specs on that side of it?
No, well, we gotta go out and
Alright,
measure.
measuring.
We'll have to go out and measure. We haven't even done that yet. Okay, so that's my input.
It's roughly 8 by 20, 8 by 6, not 8, 4.5 by about 16, but I'll get the
16
precise
feet.
measurements, yeah.
That circle is 36 feet.
Let me get tight measurements, I don't have
Yeah.
those handy yet.
Anything else for Steph?
Just wanted to make sure the board was aware and the community was aware of that, for the 2019 sign.
So we've got to the public. I'm assuming we'll put something on our website so that we can take input, so you can send an email to our website anytime with some ideas and input. We're not gonna make a decision tonight, but we'll probably make a decision at a future meeting when we gather all the facts. So, go ahead, public. Debbie, you wanna start off?
In regards to the sign, I agree with Ron, that it should be somewhere in the public. For the reason is, the sign is not just a sign. The sign represents who was here before us. It's part of our legacy, it's history to us. It represents Hugo Totino, Andy Antonio, Durant, Emily, you know, it represents my mom, the Jimenezes, everybody even that we worked here. This town, you know, how do you say, like you, when you go through the town, it's not just a sign that you see. It means more to us. It's heart, just like the artichokes. The heart of the artichoke, well, the sign is the heart of us too. When we seen that, yeah, you have the new sign, and you know what? It's beautiful, and it's gonna make new memories and new history for those, you know, those young ones growing up. But this one was us here with us. Me, I'd like to see it in the public. I'd like to see it at the recreation center on top, where when you're going through the town, it shows right on top of there. When your people are using the hall, it's right there. When the kids are out playing basketball, it's right there. When they're at the plaza, it's right there. You can see it. It's high enough that you can see it. And I heard you said the 80s one, all it needs is to be cleaned up. This is the original one. I'm talking about the original one. This one. This is a newer one, okay, but this is the original one. You know what I mean? That was there, that was placed there back then in the days. And how do you say, it's not just a sign. You know, it represents everybody that here, remember, you know, it represents the festival when everybody would come out, you know. Yeah, people leave and people get married and people go away. But you know what, on these dates that were placed there under the sign, everybody came home. They came home. This was like a reunion, and everybody came home to be with each other, to enjoy each other. And they made plans for the next year to make sure that they were here. That's why, no, you can't hide it somewhere inside. You gotta put it where it's shown, where it's seen, where people can still admire it. And when people see it, they can talk about the history of it to their kids, to their grandkids, and so on and so on and so on. And that's why for me, I mean, I would love to see it in the public. Whether it's, like you said, the gazebo with that's an awesome idea too. Or at the center, right on top, where we just, I'll paint it if you need somebody to paint it. You know what I mean? I'll get the paint busters. That'll be part of the reunion thing that they have to do, is paint it. You know what I mean? That's who they are, they're the Castroville Paint Busters. I'll get them to come and paint it, and guess what? Put it back up there. Put it back up there where people can enjoy it and people can admire it and remember those that have gone before us and not forget them. And not forget the days in the packing sheds, the days working in the fields, because that's what Castroville was. Castroville right now, you can, even though you hear the bad, but there is a good thing. If somebody here was hurt or somebody was in trouble, here in Castroville, you can run into any house and you would be protected. It didn't matter whose house you were running to. That's what Castroville is. And when you see the sign, that's what that represents. That represents us. You know, people say, oh, I love Castroville, I care. Well, you know what? My heart is the shape of an artichoke. That's how much I love Castroville. And I'll do what I'm here. I've always been here. You know, but please, keep it where we can see it, where we can enjoy it. And we can talk to our kids and our grandkids about it. And what Castroville was, and the legacy, even after we're gone, it'll still be there with our kids to enjoy. Because this is our legacy, Castroville. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public?
I have one.
Yes.
I thought there was three signs that were in back of each other. Is this just one?
There are two of each, so they're sandwiched. So the one on top, there's two, one
Right.
for each side of the arch, and then we put the skins on in 2019. You see the sign on the bottom,
Uh-huh.
those went on top. So there's a total of 4 signs, 2 older ones and 2 newer ones.
So this is the older one.
That's the older one.
Oh, got it. Looks like the same. Okay.
Yeah, they match.
So now we're talking about the signs going separate places then, right?
Yes.
Okay, so there's enough to place just about anywhere, right?
It depends on
On the board.
the board and the
it's like-
community. We
Yeah,
want to involve the community clearly.
We're trying to take input. We'll take
Okay.
input on our website, at our meetings, and at a future meeting, we'll make a decision. And then we gotta find, part of that decision is how we're gonna fund it. So
Oh,
no matter where you put it, it's gonna cost money.
right.
And so that's the other thing we're looking at. And we don't want it damaged or taken. Whatever.
That's why we gotta put it high.
We had one of our
We
entry,
can't get
we had one of our entry signs stolen already.
the one of the what?
One of our entry signs was chopped down and stolen.
Oh,
The new one.
One of the new ones, yeah. And it cost us a few $1,000 to replace it.
that's why we gotta put it high. You can't
Okay,
get it.
so any other board input?
Well, they're still public.
Oh,
I have
I'm sorry.
something, Ron, it's okay, not to worry. For me, the sign that was put up in the 50s is the one I grew up with. When we were the capital, the artichoke capital of the world.
Yeah.
And then they changed that for several reasons, I think. But I think it would be lovely on the website to have some kind of a little history, just a chronology with each of your images,
Yeah.
and kind of a little caption underneath, saying this was put up in the 1930s, which is gonna be an era that, there aren't a lot of people around who were around for that. I mean,
Did you get those pictures?
yeah, so, but then the one in the 50s, I think, is, for those of us with hair like this, that's the one we grew up with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was long gone by the time I.
So you looked at the 3 that I have.
What's that?
There's 2, I see 2.
Yeah, no, I can see, yeah, there are two, there's,
This goes back
Oh.
to the 30s,
yeah,
50s, and
awesome.
the 80s.
yeah. Nice, but it would be great on the website just to have a little link
Right.
in there. School's gonna start, get some kids to do it.
So this is the older one. You could tell from the cards.
Okay, good enough.
Right, that's good.
Start working?
Okay, then I reserve my opinion until I heard.
Okay.
Well, obviously, we're dealing with 4 signs, which is a nice problem to have. And yes, I was one of the few that remembers the 1950s, coming to Castroville by 1954. And I didn't even know what an artichoke was. I thought it was the Arctic Center, you know, somewhere else, not an artichoke. As a young man, I didn't know the difference. But yeah, it goes back many, many years. That sign itself, I don't want to see things happen. It's Salinas. Salinas had a nice sign many years ago. Those of us that remember had a rodeo, nice. Nobody knows what happened to it. And I don't want the same thing to happen to our signs. Not signs, but signs. I like the ideas, but no, the rec center, I like the rec center. If we can work together with the rec center.
Because there's a
it can
thing
be
you could put it
perfect,
against.
perfect.
Right there.
One of four.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I don't think they want both sides. The other three, well, we'll find a place, whether it be in the plaza, but of course, that's county property, so we have to work with the county. And we'll work more closely with the rec center. As far as the companies, Ocean Mist comes to mind, well, again, we have four to work with. Anything is good, as long as they're not stored, and a few years from now, you forget about them, and they're rotting away. You know, that's something we have to think about, and I think the public, and you represent the public. I was hoping more people would be here today. Unfortunately, maybe the traffic, it took me 15 minutes to get here. I could walk faster than driving over from my house. But nevertheless, all ideas are good, as long as they're put to good use. The funding of it, of course, we have to think about that too. We have to fund, nothing is free in this world. We have to fund it. And as far as that, I think we can work something out. But anything, you know, any ideas that come from the public, I like your idea, I like Ron's idea. My idea is put it somewhere, don't store it and forget about it. Because it's a legacy, like you say, you know. Some of us, I know Ron's family goes back many, many, many years.
Yeah.
And my family and your family, so we're all part of this. So anyway, I hope more people have some input on it, and we can work something out to the best that we could possibly do for the community. But you know, that's my opinion. I'm happy wherever it might be, as long as they're not stored and forgotten.
Thank you, Cosme. Anything else?
I got one more comment. That comment I made earlier, I meant for it to be put outside, so when people enter, especially on Blackie Road, they could see that sign right away. Well, that's just my,
Yeah, I looked at that today. You can go right in there behind that wall.
no, I didn't mind that to be
Yeah.
put up,
Right.
you know, the wall.
Which would be a nice arrangement for us.
And on the other side of the fence is their property too,
Right.
so wherever they want.
And I think your retired fireman friend, who was out there at the Machado, he mentioned well 3, in the back of well 3, because it's another entry point where we don't have a sign. I thought that was a pretty good idea too, but I want to make sure we collect all the ideas and get information from the board and the public, and we can make the best decision.
It's just a question, I don't know if you even know the answer to this. If the sign was to go up on the rec, if you decided to do that on the rec, more or less, if you know, around how much would it cost, how much would we have to raise?
I don't know off the top of my head, but I can ask. I wanted to find out first before I asked around.
Okay,
But I don't think it would be a huge amount of money.
yeah, because all those people that like to run their mouth on the Facebook and on all that, making them comment this, that, or whatever, I'm gonna hit them all up and say, now, put your money where your mouth is.
I can get some estimates.
Can you get me
before we
that?
have- Yeah,
Yes.
before we have the next meeting.
Thank you.
And we can also work with our board.
Okay,
We have the luxury of our ex-general manager is now on their board,
okay,
and he has a full history of this.
yeah.
So I think most of us would like to know what happened to the old signs. See, that's a good example.
Oh,
These two are not that old compared to the
these ones.
1950s. And yeah, they said capital, not center at that time.
It
I
said
remember
capital,
that.
the artichoke
Capital.
capital of the world, and they
Right.
changed it.
When did they change that?
It would have been for the sign that they put up in the 80s.
Yeah.
I remember something of Capitol, I
It
mean,
was Capitol.
very,
Well, we said, right?
I was born in '60s, so,
Right. And then you go further back, probably the
Yeah.
1930s,
The one in the
it
50s.
had an arrow pointing to Monterey.
oh,
That-
wow.
That was the road to Monterey.
Good picture.
Yeah.
Highway 1 did not exist, or Highway 156. So nevertheless, it has a long history, let's not forget it.
Yeah, and that's what I
think the
don't
community
want.
agrees with
I
that.
don't, that would hurt. That would hurt a lot for the history just to be put aside, like not shown. I mean, because when you see this, you see the history, you see, again, those people that have left us, those people that left a legacy, those people like now, you know, and I mean, I'll say it again, look at the Castroville Paint Busters, 35 years later, next year, they're having a reunion to recreate what they've done, their legacy, what they did here in Castroville, the only youth nationwide to do what they did, and they got recognized for that.
Let me say something
We
on
gotta
that.
stay on the agenda.
My daughter's part of it, by the way.
Good. Okay, we gotta stay on the agenda.
So my daughter was part of the paint.
Thanks for
brush.
the input, appreciate all the input, we can still give a whole lot more input. On the website, you can stop by here and drop off.
Yes.
I have something.
Yeah, go ahead. Sure.
Just like, they were saying, coming up Lackey Road on Castroville, right here at the Giant,
Yeah.
like the Pieris that were back in the day, the
Mhm.
Tonuses,
Mhm.
like she was saying, Totino's, all of them, that was really nice if they were to do that, because that's the ones that brought it back, from my understanding, from Italy. I mean, the history, that's what I thought,
Yeah, they did.
yeah. So, just
All righty, let's move on to item number 2. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Consider approval to attend the 2025 CSA Annual Conference and Exhibitorship.
Yeah, I just recently attended the CSDA General Manager Summit in Tahoe. It was one of the best conferences I've been to in terms of the high level of speakers, and it definitely caught my attention, and the high level of the attendees. Learned a lot, and they run a tight, quick conference. It's usually not, several days.
Your name, please.
My name is Debbie Martin,
And can you spell that?
Debbimartin.
And you live here in Castroville?
I've lived here for 64 years.
Okay. Yeah, so what made you want to come out here today?
The sign, I wanted to make sure that it doesn't just get put away and like trashed or something like that. I want to, make sure that anything I can do, that it gets placed where it can be seen by the whole community and those that still come and visit or come through Castroville.
Right, and you mentioned in there, but why is it so meaningful to you, this sign? What does it mean to you?
The sign isn't just a sign. To people that don't live here, it's just a sign. But to us that are here, it's not that. That's history. There's history in there. That's the legacy that was left to us, by that sign, Castroville. Here you have people here that have gone before us. Like my mom, Rosie, she's not here no more, but this is where she came to make a home for us here in Castroville. And you have Hugo Totino and Miss Totino. You have Mr. Ansonio, the packing sheds, that's what Castroville, all that. The Durans, the Pazzinis, I mean, everybody there. It's not just like we would see these people. These people became family. We're like all family here. Anything can happen here. I mean, things happen here in Castroville, but if something was to happen to a kid, a kid can run through any house here. Any house, and they would be taken care of. They would be, somebody would take care of them, and because everybody knows each other. And I mean, for the sign, it was sad. To me, it was sad when it went down, because it was like, but the other one is beautiful, and that's gonna make new history and new things for new people. But the old one, that's history. That's legacy.
Right.
To me.
So you said you've lived here 60 years.
64.
64 years, okay. So do you remember the sign that was before that sign that you're holding?
There's two signs right here. I remember this sign, and this sign, and now that sign.
Right. So that one was put up in the 80s, the top one.
This one was the 80s, this one's there, and then, but before this one, there was one that used to say, but I was little and I vaguely remember it, but it used to say Artichoke Capital of the World, or something like that. That's what that old sign said, the older one. So there was 4 signs put up, four different signs.
Right. And you like the sort of message or the idea of that first sign that said Artichoke Capital.
No, but our theme is Castroville. It's small but mighty. How do you say? Artichoke Center of the world. That's who we are. There's no other place like this place. There's no other home like Castroville. When the Artichoke Festival was here, people that moved away, got married, and moved out of state, out of town, those people made sure that during the festival, they'd come home. It was like a big reunion. Every year, it was like a big reunion for the Artichoke Festival because people came home. And you got to see each other, you got to hug each other, you got to spend time with each other and meet new family members. And like I said, everybody here was family. So if you weren't married to somebody, you're gonna marry somebody. So everybody's related to somebody here.
Yeah. So the sign that was before that sign that you said you remember when you were little.
Yeah, I vaguely remembered something that said capital of the world or something like that.
Right. But that sign, obviously, when they replaced it in the 80s, it kind of just disappeared.
Yeah, and nobody knows where those old signs are. And see, those signs are big. They don't just get legs and walk, you know what I mean? So where did they go? Where are those signs at? Where are the original signs at? That's why I'm here. Because I want to make sure that don't happen to these ones. Let them be put somewhere where everybody can see them. And there was good ideals in there of where to place the signs. So I'm happy, and I hope that happens. And I'll do everything I can to make that happen.
Great. Can you speak a little bit to what you feel like the community service board here? What's your perspective of them? How do you feel that they are doing, sort of taking up this task? Is there anything you'd like to see them do that maybe they didn't do this?
Me, myself, I think each and every one of them know exactly what I'm feeling and is feeling the same thing. Usually you kind of fight with boards and don't agree with the boards. But you know what? Here now I can go home and know that, they're going to come to a good decision and what to do with the sign and where to place the sign, because we're all thinking the same thing about those signs, and we all see those signs the same way. Not just to store it, not just to again, those other ones are missing. So.
Right. So everybody's pretty much on the same page. I want to ask you. You mentioned something about Facebook comments in there. I didn't quite understand what you were talking about. Is there people opposed to sort of?
No. On the Facebook comments, everybody makes comments about do this with that or do that or how come they don't do this or how come they don't do that. Well, there might be an opportunity for them to do something and help out with this. I would say a whole nother way back and trying to go there. Okay, so I'm gonna be nice.
Okay.
I don't want to do that, but I'm just saying, how do you say? If you're gonna say something, do something.
Right. So you're saying there are a lot of people who care, and so they need to step up and do whatever it takes to get it put up.
Yeah, all of us together. All of us need to step up. Even myself. If we want something done with this sign, then we need to put up or shut up.
Right. So were you surprised that there's only 3 of you guys in there for the public?
I was very surprised. But I know people work and people do things, but you know what? I know in this town, when it really comes down to it, and we really got to do what we really need to do to make this happen, there ain't gonna be no problem with people coming out. That's Castroville. That is Castroville. I got to say that. It will happen, and we will do what we need to do to make it happen. So that's Castroville. The people of Castroville. No. Oh, next year, May 30th, the Castroville Paint Busters are gonna have their 35th reunion celebration, and I'm really excited about that. See, because that sign is who they represent, the the Castroville Paint Busters. And these were youth that, you know, that just did something in their community. And they're coming back now with their kids to recreate what they did. And they were recognized by President Clinton for doing what they did. So it was a big thing. So I look forward to the signs going up and all of us just enjoying them and loving them and continuing on making history and living in our forefathers' legacies.
And see if there's street lighting that is involved in that
I was hoping that the community was gonna vote for some street lighting, but on that project, it didn't make the cut, because I was talking to Amelia from Tansy, but
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that we stop there.
Right, it's just, that would have been nice.
And I also just wanna clarify, when we go out and look at lights, we look at every light.
Yeah.
We're not just out at Ocean Mist. I just brought up Ocean Mist because a gentleman there called me to remind me about the lights and make sure that I'm addressing those. So we have a link on the website for people that goes directly to PG&E. They can call the front office. But we also have several lights in town that are out and I keep asking about, and they're saying that they don't own them, so that's why we're gonna do the audit. So we go down every street when we do the light audit. So I just wanted the public to know we don't just go to certain areas.
We have a little experience with this in Oak Hills, where they've got 2 HOAs and a CSA out there. And all 3 bodies have done the rounds with PG&E. And it's the same thing, oh, it's not our fault, it's not our fault. They just have to keep it, it's kind of a charm offensive. You just have to kill them with kindness and continue to make polite phone calls and not stop. And eventually you get somebody who goes, oh, wait, we should fix that light.
Thank you. That's the approach we're trying to take.
Great. And we've got some community members out working on surveying.
Nice.
Anna from Del Monte, she lives on Del Monte. Adrian, who doesn't live in Castroville, but he's heading the group up here.
Nice.
And they've identified Japanese school right on the map.
Right away.
Big spot.
We hear about that.
Been around the rack.
Ron, can I ask that, Marilyn?
Yeah.
The supervisor's office, I know Glenn, our supervisor, wanted to work with us on that. Maybe getting some monies, if anything. Can you bring us up to date on that?
I don't have, we just finished a fiscal year, so we're still, we're waiting for dust to settle around our budget as well. But I'll ask him, one of the reasons he asked me to be here tonight for sure was not just the sign, but also this item, the street lights. So let me catch up with him, he's back tomorrow from his time off, and we can look at it. Our discretionary funding is half what it was last year for our office, so we're gonna be very kind of judicious and really base our decisions on community well-being. So I can find out and I can work with James on what this costs. What does a street light cost? If you're gonna put in a new one, eventually, when we get to that point. 'Cause
I have
think
some
we're-
budget numbers that I can
Yeah,
share with you.
we are in that place. We know we have to add lights, so. But yeah, he's still very interested in giving all the support he possibly can.
Anything else? Okay, nothing else on lighting? Okay, move on, Board of Directors communication. Update on Monterey One Water Board meeting. Attended the last board meeting, and I think the biggest highlight that affects us is the outfall project. It's going to be needed for Cal-Am's desal project, which we have an agreement to get water from, and we're going to desperate. It's not getting any better, it's getting worse. So we had 3 members of Monterey One Water vote to try to stop and kill the project. And I think they're going to be coming back trying to kill the project. But they're going to run into a big fat lawsuit if they do that. And Monterey One Water is a JPA that was designed to serve the cities of Salinas and communities of Castroville and the county and all the cities of the peninsula. And they shouldn't be a political decision-making body. But I think we all know who's pushing that. And so the 3 members who voted not to approve extending a contract was the Seaside, Monterey, and Marina Coast. So if they pull a vote with the weighted vote system, they would have more votes than the rest of us who want to keep the Cal-Am project alive for Castroville. So we will need, since Adrienne is here, something I wanted to talk to her about. There's a hearing going on right now, and we need some phone-in input. What's that called? So the CPUC.
CPUC hearing.
Right, they're making a decision on how much water the peninsula needs. And if it gets cut back, that just means it's less water that would possibly come to Castroville. So the more water they design in the project, the more chances of less getting more. So that's really the biggest issue that I brought for this agency back from Monterey. The rest of it is, like you say, we're trying to flush the budget out and just approved it. We're looking at rate increases in future years, which is scary.
Around in the day, what, on the 24th?
Yeah, it's the 24th, right?
I don't know off the top of my head, I can
The
look
left.
this now.
Okay. Yes, and I'm waiting for Josh to send me a flyer on the meeting, and then we'll distribute it out. We have your email?
And I encourage all the board to have some input on that too.
Right. And you'll get instructions that exactly say what to say. And then you just talk about Castroville and its need for water. Just very disadvantaged people. The basic things. Okay, the next one is the Salinas Valley Basin Groundwater Sustainability Agency, the agency that's trying to make our groundwater sustainable. They're trying to get the advisory committee set up that's with some technical experts that are representative of the community that can give the board some very good recommendations on what to do. So far, the solutions are very costly. And everybody has to pay, including all the growers, all the water users. So it's going to be, and then there's a deadline, of course, 2040. It has to be all implemented, and we have to be totally sustainable with our groundwater use. We'll be hearing more of that. Any
July
questions?
24th is the correct date, I guess.
Okay, at 11
For
a.m.
the PUC meeting at 11 a.m.
11 a.m.
I'll make sure to distribute that to the board.
Okay, any questions on my report? How about other meetings and education classes? Cosme?
I've been attending meetings, that's the one, because it was in the general manager's report, and that's of course the sign, that's the one that 3 of us attended. And I guess James probably happy, I don't think he texts you almost every day.
I don't mind, I don't mind.
But you know, it's been a long process. We have a former board member that was here when we started it, and thank you for participating on Thursday on behalf of the board. It's a longer process than we thought it was going to be. We had a few hurdles we had to jump over, and there was some design changes and so forth. And I noticed on your manager's report, design of new banners. I'm sorry, can we go back to that?
Can we let him do his manager's report? That's the next item on the agenda.
Oh, I thought it was on the general report.
We haven't gotten there yet.
We haven't gotten there yet.
We're just about to.
Oh, I thought it was on here, sorry.
Don't worry about it,
I
it's
thought
fine.
we were beginning ahead of it.
On number 3, if any educational or meetings or classes that the board members have attended. And then he's gonna, the classes he's attended, he's gonna tell us in his report, so. If there's anything else, move on. Go ahead, James, go ahead and give your.
Okay, let's see
General
my GM.
manager's report.
Thank you, GM report on page 18, I'll get to the classes at the end if it's okay, Cosme.
I'm sorry, I got ahead of the game.
Don't worry about it, it's okay. I do it all the time. Well 3, I got a technical memorandum from the hydrogeologist, basically documenting what happened during the pump testing from Majora and his observations based on the limited data. I spared you from the putting it in here, but I can share it with the board if you guys like. And we have to explore, in my mind, some collaborative project opportunities for the GSA, but go ahead.
Can you explain how the testing came out?
Yeah, I kinda did the last, but for the public, yeah, we pump, we try to isolate the upper zone from the salty, suspected salty area. So what we did is we put in a pump with a balloon in there, it's called a packer, so we'd only pump deep. So we pumped without it inflated and ran some water quality, we inflated it, and we're only pumping from the lower parts of the screens, and it came up salty. So it was our last ditch effort to try to save that as a potable well, but the results indicate that there's seawater intrusion throughout the whole depth of this well, which is alarming, but it's been that way for a while, and we tried to save it before we could. Before it got much, we tried to save it for potable use, and now we're gonna have to look at maybe perhaps offering it up to the GSA for a pilot project of some sort. I have gotten feedback, Ron heard it too, that the GSA is interested in, they've heard from the public and the community and the farmers that if there's gonna be a project for the GSA, they want the first one to be in Castroville because of recognition for the efforts of Castroville and our significance in the
needs.
and the needs, exactly.
The well at Salty's, another 1,800 feet or so is the next well that we're using right now. So it's getting pretty close. Underground water moves pretty slow, but seawater comes in with lack of pressure against it. So all the pumping that goes on during the ag season is really what brings it in. And then when the ag season's over, it kind of holds off. But for the last few years, it's been on a very slow progression towards us. It seems to want to go to Salinas first. So Salinas always wants to beat everything out and be the capital, so they can take the saltwater intrusion. Okay, go ahead.
Any questions about well 3? I just want to make sure everyone knows about where we're at.
I got one question on, since it can't be saved, what's the district gonna use it for? Like a storage place or what, for water?
Place for a sign? No, I'm just kidding. We're gonna, multi-use. The GSA is interested in putting a desalter, perhaps putting a desalter pilot project there for proof of concept. They've got some other ideas, but I've given them some messages that we don't wanna do a little science experiment. We want something that's gonna proof of concept, but also produce some potable water. So I just have to push them towards that.
That's the only question I have.
Yeah, no problem. That's a great question.
We'll be thoroughly informed before
Yeah,
decisions are made on
definitely,
that coming up.
definitely. Any other questions?
Anything from the public?
Okay. Well 6, we're drilling. They've gotten down to about 1,500 feet almost with the pilot. The cuttings look pretty good lower down in the lower elevations. They found some gravels down there that they didn't think they were gonna see. So we've talked to the hydrogeologist, or at least I've talked to the hydrogeologist and also the driller. There might be a small incremental change to go a little deeper to capture those lower water producing layers, so to speak. And I was on a call yesterday with Martin Feeney. I think everyone knows Martin Feeney. It's been in the water business. He's a Salinas Valley groundwater expert. And Joe Oliver, who was the hydrogeologist that worked with Monterey Peninsula Water Management District, Mike Burke, and another gentleman, Adam from MS. So we had a big thorough conversation about it, and for about $28,000 for the added yield that you're gonna get out of the well, they said it would be really silly to not take that extra.
A little deeper.
Yeah, go a little deeper, stream a little bit more down lower, and even if it's not a capacity issues, we're gonna have lower pumping costs. So they basically said you'll get your $28,000 back in the first year. So it's a good investment. I might need to approve it and then update the board at the next meeting, but I just want you to know that it's going along and we've got pretty good results so far. We won't have any water quality results until we finish the well and start pumping.
Gravel is good.
Gravel is good.
That's what I learned through the GSA, from the hydrologist.
And I'll bring some pictures in, I don't have them with me now, where they actually take the cuttings every 10 feet and lay them out, and then the hydrogeologist will do something called a lithological log, and he or she talks about the type of soils at each layer, and then they also put an instrument down the hole, which is called a geophysical log. It sends out an electrical pulse to see how water bearing the different layers would be, and they take the physical data and the electronic data and try to do their best to figure out where to put the screens. They're also gonna put some seals in between the screens in case we need to pack off certain sections for water quality reasons, be it arsenic or salt water or something like that. So far so good, and Mike Burke from Pueblo's been a great communicator. He sends me an email every day with an update, so it's not a project that I have to chase down too much. Any questions on well 6? Okay. Washington bypass, I'm working with the right-of-way consultants and the property owners still. Not much traction there, but I will let you know once something changes. Moss Landing wastewater improvements, need to explore some grant funding prospects, and like I mentioned, our median household income survey needs to happen so that we can apply and be classified as disadvantaged, and I'm waiting for a proposal from a consultant. It shouldn't be a big study, it should be in the $10,000 range, but it'll pay off if we get it done. Streetlights, we talked about that. In the hydraulic model, we're still collecting and submitting data. We talked about the Castroville sign, but I don't know if you want to say anything about the sign since you showed up late, if there's any public comment.
Yeah, definitely, I think, my only recommendation for the board is the sign needs to continue to be owned by community. And when I mean community, it means an agency that is community-based, and it should never be sold to any private entity or any individual person. I don't think that that's the right move. And I think that it's a historical thing. My children are now adults, they're going off to college, but they're coming back, and I want them to be able to say that story of saying like, this is when we replaced it. And also, I think the community should be able to see how our progress of this town has been looked at, and I'm just really excited that we are now being seen. And it's about time that our community and our town is invested in, and I really wanted to thank you all for allowing me to be part of that. I know it wasn't a fast process or a smooth process, and you got to see also part of it, but I really wanted to thank you all for allowing me to be part of that and allowing me to be there and feel the pride that we all felt with the inauguration, and I can't wait to see the rest of the town and the improvements that we're gonna have in it.
Thank you. Thanks for your contribution to the ribbon cutting as well.
And I also, I wanna offer that if you have any other things that you wanna do with community input, community stuff, is one of my strengths, so feel free. Lydia, you all have my email, feel free to contact me. As we always thought, community involvement should always be the center, and it's a town where that is a mission and a way of life. So if you need any input from our community, please let me know. I can support you with that.
Thank you very much. Moving on. Okay, Caltrans, they're gonna do the pedestrian bridge ribbon cutting later on. I think that's gonna be a smaller community event, but I'll let you know how that pans out later. Meetings attended, I went to.
Excuse me, can I
Yes.
stop for a second? You know, I guess I got confused because street lighting and then Caltrans, that's one, you know, at my age we get confused.
It's okay, I didn't mean to do that.
Why don't you touch the design of new banners, so what is we talking about there?
You know, that's, thank you, I didn't mean to blow past that. So those are the two side banners that are on the edges of the sign. I insisted that Jeremy have something ready for the ribbon cutting, so that was really a quick design that Lydia and Lupe kind of picked out a design that Corby had given us. And then Jeremy from Signs by Van printed those up. So they're up there with twine right now because we're in a big hurry to get them up there. So he is gonna, when he has to go in and do some coating repair that was supposed to happen last night and tonight. It's been postponed for a week due to lack of materials and other things. He's gonna secure those banners.
What's he gonna do?
Where the welding happened, the coating needs to be prepped and repaired.
Oh, I see, okay.
Yeah, otherwise it will rust. So there's, I think on both ends of the beam and down below where the supports were, or where he's gonna have to repair the coat.
That's why they had a detour sign, that was for that.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm sorry I didn't do an email blast with you guys yesterday. I found out yesterday afternoon.
So it's gonna be delayed until,
So next Monday is the new one, the new closure, next Monday and Tuesday, I believe.
You know, and that's why I wanted to ask about the banners. And they have to be redesigned, it's wider than we expected it to be. The sign, the banners are hidden. They're going
Right.
Castroville in
I noticed that.
in La Escola, or Phil's now. So how does that, we're gonna have banners anyway.
I believe so. I mean, there's not a whole lot you can do about the buildings being in the way. I think that was just a,
You just need to come from us, like,
yeah,
they're very,
drive around.
they're very visible.
But you wouldn't wanna have a blank side.
Right.
So, they're gonna be two-sided banners, and we're gonna have different designs for different parts of the year, and that might be an opportunity for the community to get involved in what they wanna see on the banners. But in terms of the visibility of those banners, like Ron said, there's not a whole lot we can do about it, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, it's quite obvious that you will see it. So I was wondering if there was a need for banners anymore, because it's simply not very visible anymore. So, I don't know, that's something,
Yeah.
that's a pretty we can probably come to it.
Right. Yeah, I don't have any solutions to that, but,
They're just, well, anyway, that was my comment. Banners are beautiful, either,
Right.
you know, something better than nothing. But I guess the void has to be filled in somehow, even though you cannot see it.
right.
People try to be south louder.
Look in your rearview mirror.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, that's something that
Right.
we all noticed right
Yeah.
away, because we're not very visible, unfortunately.
Yes.
So, anyway,
So-
that's what I wanted to see, but all signs to design new banners. So,
Yeah, so we're gonna have some design that needs to happen for the new banners, and perhaps we can involve the community in terms of what they wanna see on there. There's lots of artichokes in town, so I'm not sure if we need more artichokes, but it's really what people wanna see.
What, I
Maybe
do wanna,
seasonal.
I do wanna, give props to, you said Lidia and Lupe are the ones that designed it, and for, thinking of our diverse community and having it in both languages. I think that was amazing. When I turned one side and I saw welcome, and I turned the other side and saw bienvenidos, I think that that's, and in the messaging of the ribbon cutting from our supervisors, talking about the diverse and being inclusive in a town of diversity, I think that hit the spot. So I really wanna to give props to you all for thinking of our entire community and making it an inclusive part.
And I can, if I can, yeah, make a couple of comments, if okay?
Sure.
I was there, obviously, you know, and I was happy to see that turnout of the community. You know, it was very, I was hoping that more showed up today, but for whatever reason they couldn't make it. But you're right, it was pride there. You could feel the pride of Castroville. There were some comments about the old sign and so on and so on, but nevertheless, it's a good sign. It's great, wider than I thought it would be, but nevertheless, it's a beautiful sign. And I think we can all be proud that we're part of it. And 50, 100 years from now, maybe they'll remember us, I don't know. But nevertheless, it's something the whole community should be proud of. And again, thank you.
No, thank you, and I think it was, like I mentioned in my message, yes, it's a sign and everything, but it's a symbolism of investment, and it's a true, we are investing in this town, and it's been long overdue. And that's just a symbol of how we no longer are gonna not accept anything beyond the best for our town. And so I think that, it has its things, but it's beautiful. You drive, I mean, like, I was driving with other people and they're like, what a beautiful sign. I'm like, right? It's a beautiful sign. So, it just shows to our community that we are gonna advocate for their needs, and we are gonna advocate regardless if it's a sign or services, we are gonna advocate for our town and for our community. So I'm really proud that it is there to give us a vision that we are gonna continue to advocate for.
Wonderful. Great. Okay. I went to a conference in Denver, it's the annual AWWA ACE conference. It's a national conference, lots of technical resources there. I went to many sessions. I even did a Sunday session on capital improvement plans. Learned a lot. I can talk more about that, but I want to thank the board for sending me to that conference. And I'm hoping to send some staff to that conference in the future. It's really a sight to be seen, just the vendor show itself. But went to lots of technical sessions, got lots of CEUs for my certifications, learned a lot about capital improvement plans and delivering those projects. So it was nice to go to those classes. I also went to the CSDA General Manager Summit in Tahoe, which was just a couple-day conference. It was all general managers with the CSDA group. I met some really top-notch general managers and young general managers, older general managers, lots of resources, lots of fresh ideas. And I had several moments where I had conversations with people or vendors and thought, wow, this made the whole trip worth it. So I can give you more specifics later on, but I also wanted to thank the board for supporting me and sending me to that conference. CSDA is a great organization. And then, of course, the ribbon cutting went very well, and I'm glad that everyone attended. And if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to speak further.
Anything from the public? All right. So, we'll move on to operations report for that. Are these reports then?
Well, I just wanted to talk real quick. I got the water level graph in there, Cosme. I'm sorry, I blanked on it for a couple of months and didn't do it.
We got it now.
And I'm also, like I mentioned, planning on putting together some water quality graphs to complement the water levels so we have a better understanding of what's happening with the groundwater basin out here. Operations report, I'm not gonna get into reading that, but I just wanna do a couple of highlights. For example, every month these guys get a mile of sewer main jetted, which is fantastic. They got 30 valves exercised, and we did plenty of other work. Today, they did 3 leaks on service lines. They were worn out at the end of the day, but they were in good spirits, and without this current staffing levels that we have, there's no way we would have been able to get to 3 leaks. So it would have cost us a lot of money today to hire Tony Chapin or Granite or somebody else to do that work for us, and it is a great opportunity for our younger staff to learn from the older staff, and leaks are good experiences for them. We don't really like them, but it's good experiences for the younger staff to know how to go about it. And I'm sure Glenn knows all about how fun leaks can be. So they got 3 fixed today and no overtime, and they went home at 4:30 safe and happy. So I just want to do my accolades to the operations staff. And I think that's it.
Great. Thank you, James. Any questions?
You're welcome.
Public? From the board?
I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory. Let me just go ahead and point out on page 21, we've been tightening down the methodologies and the math and going after leaks. And May we are down to 4%, which is remarkable. We're right around 9%, which is pretty acceptable for a water system of our size and capacity. And we're going to continue to look at sources of unaccounted water for, and I have some suspicions that we have some meters that need to be replaced, but I'm working with Roberto and Jonathan on that. Thank you.
So on page 22, as you see, is the water sales for the month of June, for the $116,467.44, and that's on page 22. And that's already ends our fiscal year, so our one fiscal year is already over, and we're starting already in July, so I'm gonna be getting ready here preparing for our annual audit again. So time just flies on that. And then page 24, as you see, shows the water sales for July 2024 through June 2025. So that's for the whole year of amount of water sales that the district did for the year, fiscal year ending June 2025. And page 25 shows the water usage, so that's the cubic feet for the same fiscal year, July 2024 through June 2025. And then on page 26, you see the profit and loss budget versus actual, so the amount that the district budget for the fiscal year and the actual expense through July 1, 2024 through May of 30th, 2025. So that could be seen on page 26 through page 36. And then on page 37 is the balance sheet as of May 30th, 2025. That shows where we stand with the different class funds that we have, which is sewer funds zone 1, zone 2, the sewer fund for Moss Landing Zone 3, the water fund for Castroville Zone 1, and the government fund for Castroville Zone 1, and the government fund for Zone 2. And that could be seen in the balance sheet from page 37 through page 40 as of May 30th, 2025. It gives us a picture of where we are financially at this point in time. And then on page 41 through 44 is for the fiscal year again, July 1, 2024 to May 30th of 2025. And this is for CIP, assets, projects in progress that are still pending for the district and where we're at as of July 2024 through May 30th. So as you can see, we're still of course going on with the well site projects, any improvements that we've done that are been accrued as an asset, a CIP, meters, hydrants, shop equipment that was purchased, and any other assets that was purchased throughout the fiscal year of July 1, 2024 through June 2025. And then 45 is the internal report, which shows all the different activities for the different accounts that the district has. Financial accounts is the Chase Bank financial account. We did have the final payment of residual user fees and property taxes that we received for the fiscal year ending June 2024, which is $47,774.83. So that concludes all the monies that were received for that fiscal year with the user fees and property taxes. We also received reimbursement for the IRWMP grant deep well at an amount of $5,995.41. So we do bill because we did have a grant for $395,000. So that's down to towards the end, finishing off the grant for that, the implementation. Also, when you see the expenses, you'll see the checklist later that shows all the checks that make up those total expenses. Also, the customer deposit fund, so we've been having hydrant meters that have been rented, you know, because we do have a lot of construction projects going on, so we have construction companies renting hydrant meter from us, so we do charge them $800 for the hydrant meter. So that's as a deposit that gets put into the bank, and once they're done, you know, we refund them back their deposit for that return, once the hydrant meter is returned. And the new customers that come in also a $60 deposit for water accounts. And then we have the lake fund account. So here we earn interest quarterly with lake. So the month that we earn accrue interest on there is January, April, July, and October of each month. So that's quarterly. So the next interest that will be posted won't be until for July 15th, actually today. So, but you'll see that next month. And then we have the camp fund that shows the current yield. So we have the different funds that we created for the camp account, for the fund accounts for camp. So there, on this for the camp, we earn interest monthly there. So interest gets earned monthly with this account. So you see the amount that gets earned for each different fund account there. On page 45 through page 46. And then we also have the CalTrust investment medium-term account, and there we also earn interest monthly, and we end up also having, depending on how the midterm account does, we end up having an unrealized gain or loss, and as you see, for this month, we had a gain. And that lets you see what our ending balance is as of June 30th, 2025. And then page 47, this is just all, the rest is backup documentation to confirm that I didn't just make up these numbers. So the actual documentation to show where these figures came from. So page 47 shows the amounts for the LAIF account. Page 48 shows the LAIF monthly PMIA LAIF performance report. Page 49 shows the PMIA daily effective yield and where it stands as of 7/9/2025 with LAIF for the quarter to date interest that is earned. And then on page 50 is the camp, and it's the consolidated summary statement, which actually just shows the total amount for all the funds. But then page 51 breaks it down for you for the amount that is in each fund, that you see there. And then page 52 is the CalTrust investment account summary for the month. So it lets you show you the value, what it is, the interest that was earned, and the shares, what the value of the shares were, and whether we had an unrealized gain or loss. In this case, we had a gain, so that was great. So that's page 52. And then page 53 through page 54 is the list of checks that were issued for the month of June. So these checks require two signatures, whether it be board members and a general manager, but it always requires two signatures. So we usually issue checks bi-weekly and payroll as well, and pay vendors. So this is always seen by a director at all times, at least, when the checks are signed, or two directors, or the general manager. So these are the checks that were issued for the month of June. So if anybody has any questions on any of the checks that were issued?
Questions? Checks? Questions? Good.
One question. On check, this is, issued on June 26th, that's for J. Johnson and Company. It was on Island Street Road, what did they do there? It was for $43,674.
Yes, go ahead.
When the county came in here and did these roads, we had to raise up the iron, which is basically the top of the manholes and the ring, as well as the valve cans. And Tykert offered to do it for a much higher price, and we got a bid from Jay Johnson to do that. So it's been fill work, so he's raising stuff that was paved over up to grade.
Well, the reason I thought I had already been done, because it hadn't been done.
He's working along. Jay's been jumping around a lot. We've had him doing a lot of things. The sign, some of this stuff over on Merritt Street.
That's what
So I'm trying not to spread him too thin.
I was confused, whether that was passed, but we're still working on it.
Yeah, and some of this work was done quite a while ago. There were some discrepancies between the quantities billed and the quantities that we knew about. And sometimes that's just a book keeping thing. So we always verify if someone charges us for 10, that we have 10. So there was a little delay in the billing there.
So I just want a clarification. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I appreciate it, Cosme.
I got two questions. Over there by the car wash, there's a water valve in the sidewalk. Are you guys gonna raise them up, or is the state and Caltrans gonna do that?
Caltrans and us are working together, Granite essentially and us are working together, where if we need to give them a new valve can, we'll give them a new valve can. And there's been some talk about who's gonna do the final grade, but I believe that the guys that are doing the concrete are getting it in perfect. So we're not having to get all the elevations, but really you can just drag a board across the forms.
Right.
So we're providing the new boxes and they're
Okay.
pretty much doing the labor,
Because,
so to speak.
the reason why I asked that is because there was one time I had to go turn off that valve and it was full of dirt. So that's why I wanted to be sure that
It will.
they can get, the operator can get to that.
Absolutely.
And the other question, all on Merritt Street, are they gonna do just the water service going across the street, or are they gonna do the other side too?
And what-
You know, the water
Services?
service line, are they gonna replace all of them that going across the street, or are they gonna do all of those water service on Merritt Street?
We're gonna do all the water services that aren't fairly new on Merritt Street.
Okay,
And as you know, Roberto's got meticulous records with pictures on what we fixed and we haven't fixed. So the bid that we got from Jay Johnson is all old services essentially that we know need to be replaced. So both sides,
oh, okay.
yeah.
So, and how long is this project gonna be?
They're saying 18 months to 2 years.
Oh, okay.
And as you'll notice, there's some delays from other utilities. In front of the giant artichoke, there's a street light that's gonna be in the middle of the road, and Granite's actually asked me to talk to PG&E about, are you guys gonna move it or not? So I'm trying to tread cautiously and keep the good relations going with everyone, but that's kind of an example of some of the delays that Granite might have is the other utilities that aren't responding.
You know, a customer asked me, what are they doing on Merritt Street? And I told them, I think they're gonna make it a lot of improvement, but I really don't know. You have to wait and see until they finish.
Yeah, the plans are really, really detailed, the civil plans, so they're hard to read from a water standpoint, but it's really the hardscape on both sides of the street all the way to Highway 1. It's gonna look nice. And some bulb outs to make it safer, in particular right here at the end of Wood.
That's not the only questions.
That's all you got
That's,
for now?
well, you want some more?
We need a motion to approve the checks.
I make that motion.
Greg seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Items for next month's agenda, anything from the board? Business as usual. All right, we need a motion to adjourn.
I make that motion.
Great. Second by Greg. All those in